President Trump calls off planned strikes on Iran just hours after threatening to escalate the war. He cited progress in discussions with high-level Iranian leadership for the sudden change. He announced the decision on social media. Earlier, he told Fox News,
they're really in submission. They just don't know it yet. Okay, to be honest with you, they just don't know it yet.
And Wall Street immediately soared higher on the news, the Dow surging more than 880 points. And the man accused of killing former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband pleaded guilty today. Federal prosecutor Daniel Rosen says they dropped the death penalty in exchange for the plea, and he also agreed to serve 2 life terms.
That was an opportunity that we just could not pass up.
America's listening to Fox News.
If you need a new or pre-owned vehicle, but prior credit issues have you worried, see Magic City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram today. We can help. Bad credit, no credit, first-time buyer, or even if you just want to change what you're driving now, we're here to get you approved. See us now and start driving the new car or truck you deserve. When it comes to financing, go with Magic City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're here to help. Magic City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 1750 Independence Boulevard in Bedford, MagicCityBedford.com.
The clock is ticking. Time is running out for Virginia citizens to purchase modern sporting rifles and magazines from Big Boys Guns. Beat the July 1st deadline. Right now, the selection is robust at Big Boys Guns. ARs, AKs, and the most popular handguns will soon be banned from sale in the state of Virginia. Don't wait. Visit Big Boys Guns before the inventory is gone and not allowed to return. Shop 24/7 at BigBoysGuns.com and in store on Route 460 in Blue Ridge.
So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel.
Darius Rucker brings the Sounds of Summer Tour to Elmwood Park in Roanoke, Saturday, June 20th. Tickets are on sale now at elmwoodlive.com. Kick off your summer with Darius Rucker with support from Austin Williams at Elmwood Park in Roanoke, Saturday, June 20th. Visit elmwoodlive.com for tickets and more information.
You've got a high-stakes meeting and must make an impression. You must choose Charlie's Catering. Bring the flavor to your next event with Charlie's Catering menu featuring breakfast buffets, boxed lunches, and buffet-style lunch and dinners, plus apps, hors d'oeuvres, and desserts. Want to really show you care? Charlie's vegetarian and special diet options will allow you to show everyone in the group you've got them covered. For gatherings big or small, call Charlie's Catering and feed them all. Plan now at charlieslynchburg.com.
You're stepping into the fast lane on the VTRN Sports app, 93.3 FM and 1320 AM Lynchburg, or by asking Alexa or Google Home, open VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, take the fast lane through the topics that matter across the Commonwealth. This is the Fast Lane with Ed Lane.
The debauchery in behavior is still deplorable. Get the words out to start the fast lane on this Thursday. Throwing an egg at Victor Wembanyama. People accosting the man who is preparing their fries at a Five Guys restaurant. We are beeping them out because they're not a sponsor of ours. We are petulant like that here in the fast lane. Just check out social media. New Yorkers still doing New Yorker things, showing why everyone should want to be just like the city that never sleeps. But in spite of the absurdity of New York, the Knicks actually showed last night why they as a team, if you can extract yourselves from their annoying fans and their holier-than-thou city that's so great that when people leave there, they tell you how great it is, but they don't actually move back, kind of like Texas people, that you're in this spot where you should at least be able to say, this team is worth appreciating. As you heard last night, capped off by this moment on ESPN Radio and the VTRN Sports app.
Knicks were down as many as 29. Anunoby gets it into Brunson. Brunson pulls a quick three. Off the front rim, no. Tip it, good! For the lead with 1.2 seconds to go. OG Anunoby flying out of nowhere. And this place is rocking at the Garden.
The decision by Jalen Brunson to go that quickly is enormous, Kesty, because it opened up exactly that. You have to give yourself 2 chances to win. A shot at the bucket and then give your teammate a chance. And oh, gee, oh my.
I'm not real big on Doris Burke's little shtick, oh gee, oh my, at the end. I know people do those things, but whenever it happens, I often think that's, you're trying too hard. Take that out, though, and her breakdown of that situation is spot on. Like, that was fantastic. How she documented one of the perils in basketball right now. The idea that if you want to hit a game-winning shot, you have to literally bleed it down to like 1 second, take an off-balance shot so that it can go into the buzzer, and then you can get the social media highlight. Winning on social media or winning the game, and in this case, a championship. And tip your cap to Jalen Brunson, JJ, because he deserves a lot of credit. That was a high basketball IQ play, and it capped off a remarkable comeback where for the Knicks, for all the criticism of New Yorkers and New York fans, and it is extremely well justified, they are in their own elite tier of unbearability. The Knicks as a team deserve a lot of praise for erasing 3 double-digit deficits. This one, the 29-point deficit, bigger than the combined other deficits they overcame down in San Antonio to get that 3-1 series lead.
Yeah, the resiliency of the Knicks here is just unreal. It was the largest comeback in NBA Finals history, passing a previous Celtics record when they came back from 24 down in 2008. So it's just unbelievable. Great performance by Jalen Brunson, finished with 36. OG Anunoby obviously had the big moment. And a moment that you could argue is just as big as the tip-in is the play right before De'Aaron Fox had a breakaway running down the court and went up with a layup, and OG blocked that. So if Fox makes that layup, it's a 3-point game, and the Brunson miss ends up losing them the game.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, they're just shooting a 3, hoping to tie it up, not actually going for a win. Instead, the Knicks' fault. They've done so this series. And how ironic is it that this is a Knicks team that is the antithesis of what people wanted New York to have in basketball? Like, there was this idea that for the Knicks to win a championship, they needed star power, a la this guy.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4.
In the Miami Heat or the Los Angeles Lakers. They really don't have that. They don't really have what the Spurs had when they won it back with Kawhi Leonard and Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. They don't really have what the Warriors have with Steph Curry, who you could argue is the greatest reinventor of how basketball is perceived. Like short, scrawny white guys like myself, maybe not me, I'm not athletic enough, but other people, short, scrawny individuals, can now envision a path to the NBA because I know Steph Curry's 6'3", but he doesn't look like your physical specimen the way the others did. The Knicks have none of that. Like, it's really just the sum is greater than any of the individual parts for the Knicks, and that's where they're worth giving a lot of praise for. And again, tip your cap, because this New York team is not what New Yorkers seemingly wanted in terms of the way it looks, the way they win. But Shaq, who ironically was part of the Lakers championships with Kobe, brought this up after the game that the Knicks deserve a lot of credit for. They showed in championship medal, which is fighting the way that a champion would.
Congratulations to the Knicks for coming back, but Chuck, I agree with you. They played terrible basketball. They got comfortable. They got comfortable with the league. They was already talking about, going back to San Antonio. They just didn't play smart. And, you never know what a champion is until you become a champion. But tonight, the Knicks, they fought like a champion.
Agree. You never know what a champion is until you become one. The amount of times you have to fight your way through things and adversity. Been there as a runner, obviously on a much lower level. So, take this with a grain of salt, not nearly the amount of pressure, but when you're a competitor, you're a competitor. And to go through that fire again and again, the way the Knicks have, and respond with resilience again and again, like, first of all, you can separate multiple things. Knicks fans, deplorable. Knicks team, admirable, JJ. And I think we showed in New York how both of those things are very true.
Yeah, I mean, the whole 5-man lineup they start. Anyone except, even Josh Hart has his moments, but you could get 20 points from anyone in the starting lineup on any given night. And then you top that off with Jalen Brunson, a guy who's been averaging almost 30 points per game in the finals. So with that kind of firepower and what they call the power of friendship, you could say, the experience of playing at Villanova and those national championships, just the chemistry of this team is unreal, and how much they play together. It's something we haven't seen in a while, I feel like.
True. Now, I do agree with this. When you're on the other end of it, like the Spurs are, you can also make a compelling case. Like, again, Did the Knicks win it or did the Spurs blow it? I know this isn't great sports radio. I'm sure this stance was not taken today on your daytime TV sports shows that you might have seen wandering around town when you went into a business because you weren't listening to the VTR and Sports app out loud because you're not that dedicated to us, and I can't blame you for that. But when you took a break from the VTR and Sports app or 93.3 FM in your car and you went in to insert your business here, they were not talking about how two things can be true at once. Nuance does not exist on those, but it does here in the fast lane. The Knicks came back. They showed a remarkable level of resiliency, and they have this entire series. But Chuck's right. The Spurs also blew this with some of their atrocious decision-making.
We saw the dumbest basketball team in the history of civilization.
Oh, wow.
We saw they had a 25-point lead, took eight straight threes. Like, they thought to get, like, that was some of the most mismanaged, stupid basketball. Hey, when you blow a 29-point lead, the other team has to help you. The San Antonio Spurs helped the New York Knicks win this game by doing some of the stupid ass stuff I've ever seen on a basketball court.
That was Charles Barkley on Inside the NBA last night, and it's why he's gold when it comes to this type of commentary. Here's the thing. I know people will say, well, you didn't criticize Liberty men's basketball when they would blow their leads this past season because they had a number of times where they had a 15-point lead or thereabouts, and they had to cling for dear life or even lost the game. Here's the difference. Liberty had two starting guards who were 5'8", 5'9", not 6 feet. So getting to the rim to get a bailout shot was not an option. I love Colin Porter and Kaden Matheny at Liberty, but they are not the type of guys where you could go up. The three-pointer is not going. Why don't you drive to the rim? Now, they might get fouled. They can make free throws, although at Liberty, you can always laugh about that. Insert your joke here about free throw shooters struggling at Liberty. But they did not have the ability size-wise. The Spurs do. And that's where it just boggles my mind. This married to analytics world in which we live. It doesn't matter if you're able to drive to the rim. You should always take the three because 3 is greater than 2. I am pro analytics in a lot of cases. I am fine with 3-point shooting being heavily emphasized. But at some point when you're blowing a 29-point lead, can't you have the presence of mind to go, we just need to get something going to stem the tide. For the next couple of possessions, we're driving to the rim and we're getting it down low. Because even if you miss, newsflash, you've got the tallest, most athletic, and best player in the finals. He's not going to win MVP unless they win, but you've got Victor Wembanyama around the rim who could pull an OG Anunoby and tip it in a couple of times. Like, again, I'm not the basketball guy like you are, JJ, but to me, there is a clear delineation. And maybe it's the fact that, this is not Greg Popovich on the sideline. You've got a much younger coach now in Mitch Johnson for the Spurs. It's his first go run in the playoffs. But to understand that sometimes there is also I'm going to curse here, the analytics community. There's a feel component that you just have to be able to sense and feel in the game and realize that's the case. Again, I'm going to use a sports analogy as an Eagles fan, but it's like when Andy Reid gets infatuated with throwing the football, and the thing he's done a better job over the latter part of his career than he did in Philly, he'd go times where he just would throw it like 20 to 30 times in a row. Sometimes it's just not getting it done. If you've got the ability, especially with a big mauling offensive line, just change it up and run the daggum football, okay? Run the dang ball. I don't know if we have that soundbite ready that Trey loves so much. But at some point, you have to have the same mindset in basketball. It's like passing the ball in football is the thing to do, but sometimes you just need to run to reestablish, to calm the team down, and to say, if it all goes to you-know-what in the handbasket, we can at least get something going here and regain the momentum and regain our composure.
So I'm about as big of an analytics guy as it comes. I'm super into the numbers, seeing what the most efficient thing per possession is. However, I do think when you get a big lead in a playoff game, and you're what they say, live by the 3, die by the 3. So the first half, the Spurs were living by the 3, absolutely. They made 14 threes, the most ever in a half of a finals game. They're incredible. And then the second half, we saw they weren't falling at all, so they're dying by the 3. But what I think is I don't understand why you have to die by the 3. They're not falling. You don't have to over-rely on them. Like you're saying, you need to get rim pressure. You need to get to the free throw line, things that will calm your young team down. Let's keep in mind, their best players, 22. Steph Castle's only 21, and Dylan Harper's 20. So I think they just got too excited with the big lead, and they just kept making threes because that was working in the first half, and it ended up costing them the game.
I get it. It's the most unfortunate part to this where you've got to be able to understand situational coaching in basketball. And I think if there's one flaw for a lot of young coaches that are out there, not all of them, but in football and basketball, you're so married to the analytics that you have to throw the ball in football or that you have to shoot the three in basketball, that you have never been in a spot like this where you can sit there and go, what would I do differently? And to me, the easiest answer is in football, run the ball, calm it down. And in basketball, like you just said, JJ, rim pressure, get to the rim and change things up. And you know how to handle the situation because you have experience. Meanwhile, if you've been in an auto accident, you may not know how to handle the situation of dealing with the insurance companies. Don't worry. That's where Trost Law will come in to help. They have been serving Virginians since 1982, which means
Not one, not two, not three, not four,
but over 4 decades. And you can call them at 777-HURT and TrostLaw.com. Now, other Cup dates to start things off in the Fast Five at 5-ish.
It's time for Fast Five at 5-ish. 5-ish minutes on 5 relevant topics done around 5 p.m.-ish. Ish, because our counting skills are kinda ish. Let's start with number 5.
The World Cup is underway. Are you a soccer guy,
Oh,
JJ?
I'm a big soccer guy, Ed. I used to play. I've watched it every World Cup. In my opinion, it's actually the pinnacle of sport.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a debate for another time. We don't have time to go down that rabbit hole today in the fast lane. But it felt like it could have been bigger than a 2-0 Mexico victory over South Africa, which is what it was today. This is my novice soccer fan kicking in. I just kind of view it in the context of who's getting more shots on goal, and who looks like they're possessing the ball and passing it better over a period of time. Now, am I oversimplifying this? Yes, I probably am. JJ, you were generous enough to not be laughing and making fun of me for it, but it felt like Mexico watching it off and on. You and Dre were watching it more than I did. It felt like Mexico was doing all those things we mentioned, which is who's in control of a game and a match in this case. And they scored 9 minutes into the match. But it felt like maybe if you don't, maybe you get even more. But Mexico was always in control, and it never felt like they were threatened, even before the 2 red cards came for South Africa.
Yeah, they had plenty of opportunities, a couple of big saves from the South African keeper, as well as they hit the woodwork one time. So the opportunities were absolutely there. They just weren't quite clinical enough. I think this easily could have been a 3-0, 4-0 kind of game. But at the end of the day, they got the 3 points, and they got to hope the goal differential will come back to bite them in the group stage.
That is a good point there from our own JJ, who knows how these things work better than I do. Meanwhile, speaking of goals,
Number 4.
I don't know if goal differential matters a lot in the Stanley Cup final, but you'll be able to find out tonight, 7:30 p.m. on the VTRN Sports app, when Vegas and Carolina square off from about 2 hours south of our Virginia Talk Radio Network studios down in Raleigh, North Carolina. Really, it's like 2.5 hours. Who are you picking tonight? Why?
I got Carolina tonight. I think for once, the home momentum will actually help them. And we've gone Knights, Canes so far. And they say a lot of the times, first team to win 2 games in a row ends up winning the series. I think Carolina does that tonight and will eventually win the series.
You know, I think the big thing for Carolina has been the fact that they've been able to apply enough pressure. They can get on top of teams early, but a lot of that's been on the road. At home, it's entirely different. Can they do that again tonight and keep it up? I do believe they can. One thing to watch out for, our guy Vic Morin from the NHL Wraparound Podcast, the voice guy that you hear leading us into our segments here in the Fast Lane on the rejoins, that's Vic Morin. But he has the NHL Wraparound Podcast with former Rangers Stanley Cup winning president Neil Smith. And they talked about how power play production has just been non-existent for Vegas. And the fact that it's difficult to snap out of that. If that changes for Vegas, then Carolina has to be more judicious about their aggressiveness, because it could result in penalties where they actually end up getting burned. Meanwhile, sadly, speaking of getting burned,
Number 3.
unfortunately, the person who passed away in the Henry Ruggs car crash was burned and then eventually passed away. There's no great transition from that. But Henry Ruggs, nearly 5 years after a drunken driving crash occurred in which his drinking and driving resulted in a woman and her dog being killed in Las Vegas, Ruggs has been denied parole. Look, again, I can be pro-forgiveness, but still pro-consequences as well. And to me, this is the exact example of it. It's not that this was great 20 to 30 years ago, But I don't care if Henry Ruggs wants to drive his sports car aggressively or not. You have enough money that you could have gone to Las Vegas Motor Speedway and done that as much as you want to your heart's content. You could have probably rented the place out, signed some kind of waiver, and done whatever you wanted to out there. But instead, you did this after consuming beverages. Have you ever heard of rideshare services? They exist for a reason. And TroStall.com would like to remind you to keep that in mind as opposed to going the Henry Ruggs route, because that's the example of the worst situation that could possibly arise. Meanwhile,
Number 2.
Jordan Hudson has filed public records requests seeking communications from 24 UNC staff members. This according to the Assembly North Carolina. And Yahoo has verified this. Like, I thought this was a joke, but apparently it's been verified. The requests target messages and records that contain the words ban, Pablo, and Torre. No joke. That's what this request is for. Between January 2025 and May of 2026. By the way, reports have it that our guy, Michael Lombardi, got her banned. Bravo. Very mature decision. If that's in fact true, not going to get any comment on that. Reached out, not expecting anything, but hey, I don't dispute that. This is the type of distraction that takes the attention away from Bill Belichick in North Carolina, focusing on their task. My biggest concern is why even invite this distraction? Like, I get she's attractive, and we all kind of know why Belichick might be in the relationship with Jordan Hudson, and why she might be in the relationship with him. And look, they each is her own. But I mean, don't you think you could find other people? If you're her, you can find someone else that's got a lot of money and can meet your very picky demands. If you're Belichick, can you find somebody else that's attractive as well? Like, not to say this, I'm gonna get in trouble with my wife on this one, but this does not apply to my wife. This applies to high maintenance people, which they both are. There are better options out there if you fit that category. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just don't see what any point of it is for. Like you said, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Belichick's got a lot of money. Jordan Hudson's very beautiful. They both could find better options and just stay away from the drama entirely.
They definitely could. Meanwhile, in
Number 1.
just the breaking news that came out this afternoon, but Wanye Morris was traded from the Kansas City Chiefs to the Atlanta Falcons. The offensive lineman going to the ATL. Atlanta is this type of team where it's like individually all their parts look really good, but Michael Penix can't stay healthy at quarterback. 2 is the odds-on favorite to take the opening snap to start the year. They've had a difficult time combining the pieces. Drake London got this contract where I'm like, he's good, but is he that good? Bijan Robinson will be worth it whenever he gets a new deal because he's still young and you can kind of burn the tread on the tires, so to speak. But the Falcons look like the quintessential team, which is individually there are a lot of good pieces, but I have major doubts whether it actually all gels together. And Wanye Morris is the latest example of that because there were questions about his work ethic and motivation. And it's one of those, if he couldn't get it together in Kansas City with a more strict and structure-based organization, 2 of the best leaders in Reed and Mahomes, what's going to happen when he leaves that environment and goes to a less structured organization in Atlanta?
I don't think anything good will happen, Ed.
Simply said from JJ. Meanwhile, when we return to the fast lane, speaking of quality movement, we will get to quality movement with Jess Curtin of Fleet Feet Roanoke to discuss Move-A-Palooza. Those are the good kind of movements, and we will get to that when we return here in the fast lane.
Celebrate 250 years of America with massive savings during the Liberty 250 savings event on the Sheeler Motor Mile. Right now, get an additional $250 fuel savings discount on all new and used vehicles. An additional $250 in fuel savings. Shop over 2,000 new and used vehicles in one location, including more than 1,000 quality pre-owned vehicles with most makes and models at the Used Car Superstore. Plus 12 new car brands in Southwest Virginia. Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Toyota, Subaru, Chevrolet, Buick, Mitsubishi, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Used cars starting at just $59.95. $59.95. And your trade is worth more. Shop local and save with straightforward pricing, exceptional service and selection, certified friendly staff, no games, no gimmicks, and more inventory arriving daily, plus flexible financing options for every budget. We've got the credit. The Sheeler Motor Mile delivers choices. The Liberty 250 savings event on the Sheeler Motor Mile. I-81 exit 118C in Christiansburg. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at Sheeler.com.
Example 2009 Chevrolet Impala, stock number KA260134B, plus tax tag title and $697 processing fee.
The clock is ticking. Time is running out for Virginia citizens to purchase modern sporting rifles and magazines from Big Boys Guns. Beat the July 1st deadline. Right now, the selection is robust at Big Boys Guns. ARs, AKs, and the most popular handguns will soon be banned from sale in the state of Virginia. Don't wait. Visit Big Boys Guns before the inventory is gone and not allowed to return. Shop 24/7 at BigBoysGuns.com and in store on Route 460 in Blue Ridge.
Hi, I'm Al Billingsley, a board member with CASA of Central Virginia. Children who've experienced abuse or neglect often enter foster care feeling scared, confused, and alone. That's where CASA volunteers step in. We stand behind these children to make sure that their voices are heard in court. CASA is looking for caring adults from our community to serve as volunteer advocates. And as a man, I can tell you we're especially in need more men to step up for these kids. If you're ready to make a difference, learn more at cvcasa.org.
What if the secret to your pain-free life was the Saturday in Salem? Odds are high you'll find the antidote to your pain at Move-A-Palooza presented by Fleet Feet Roanoke. Move-A-Palooza is all day, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Saturday, June 20th, and features music, food, a phone party, and beer garden. Meet the region's premier movement experts in walking, running, biking, yoga, and more. Enjoy activities like trail walking and wellness demos. Get moving. Move on out to Move-A-Palooza all day Saturday, June 20th at Green Hill Park in Salem.
Big news, everyone. Earthright Roofing is giving away a free roof. Go to our website to read the terms and conditions and see if you qualify for up to a $10,000 asphalt shingle roof at no charge. Must be 15 years or older roof to qualify. Come to our showroom for a double entry into the contest or go online for an entry. Enjoy, and we look forward to meeting you soon. Thank you. Visit earthrightroofing.com or call our office at 434-248-3697 for more information about the contest. We look forward to hearing from you.
When you walk into Haley's, you see the size and selection of a big box store. Over 19,000 square feet of appliances and mattresses. Leading appliances like KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, Genair, Speed Queen, GE, and Monogram. And mattresses like Sealy, Serta, and Tempur-Pedic. So what's the difference? A family, locally owned business, and a staff committed to servicing you over the entire life of the product. That means before, during, and well after your purchase. Visit Haley's today, just off Ward Road in Lynchburg. Haley, quality.
Hi, I'm Zach Mack, voice of Virginia Tech Hokies men's basketball. Start jumping. This is your home for the Hokies. VTRN Sports 93.3 FM and the VTRN Sports app. Hi, this is Zach Mackey, the voice of Virginia Tech men's basketball. You're listening to The Fast Lane with Ed Lane and Trey Lyle. Join the chat at Trey Lyle VT and Fast Lane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
I'm going to do something I really shouldn't do as we welcome you back into the Fast Lane. I'm going to make excuses, or as we like to say, I'm going to get my usher on, make my confession that I can't exactly remember the term that Jess Curtin gave to me. Is it spirit animals? Is it spirit sisters, siblings? What was the term that you described as when you first met me? Unfortunate for you, fortunate for me. A couple of weeks ago over at Fleet Feet in Roanoke.
I definitely feel like we are kindred spirits. Maybe that was the one. I feel like you and I have such a similar vibe and energy and excitement and enthusiasm for life that I'm super excited to be here with you, Ed.
Well, we're excited to have you here. We're discussing Move-A-Palooza presented by Fleet Feet Roanoke. No joke, we are looking at our watch today and reminding you that it is next Saturday, June 20th at Green Hill Park in Salem. The what and the who. What is the vision behind this event and how it came to be?
Yeah, so the what is, this is an all-day movement festival. We are celebrating all things movement, whether you're a walker, a runner, a yoga fan, if you like Pilates, if you just want to explore and be outside, this is the perfect opportunity for you to find what moves you at Move-A-Palooza. The why is really, we want to be able to help people find their joy in movement. So if you are someone who is movement curious and you're not sure what method of movement you are interested in, maybe it's just getting out there and making it your first mile as you're walking around our quarter-mile loop inside the park, or whether you want to PR at our 5K that we're hosting at Sunset, all of the things that have anything to do with movement, you can find at Move-A-Palooza.
When did the idea for adding a 5K at Sunset come into this event, which features so many different elements of movement, Jess?
Yeah, so all along, we had wanted this whole day to be about movement. And one of the things that we participate most in at Fleet Feet is different types of races and events here in the Roanoke Valley and beyond. And so we thought, we already host a 5K called the Big Run, and it's held on Global Running Day every year. And we thought, why not throw another one in? And so we're doing 2 5Ks in the month of June. No big deal. That's fine. But what's really cool about this is I am a huge fan of all things glitter, glow, sparkle, anything that is fun and festive, I am all for. So the idea of adding some glow into it, I just was like, that's it. That's what we got to do. So we're encouraging people who want to come participate in that 5K. You don't have to have any experience at all. It can be your first 5K ever. Or you can be trying to PR and find your personal record on a course that's never been shown before. This is a brand new course that no one's run before. We just want people to be able to come out and move and enjoy it and see what is so joyous about being able to get your body outside and moving and feeling good about yourself.
So when people think the name Fleet Feet Roanoke, it's understandable running comes to mind, but do people often miss the fact that it's fleet feet, which means movement on your feet, which means you guys seem to be pro anything that gets people moving and living their best life?
Absolutely. We firmly believe that movement changes everything, not just running. Obviously, we can cater to those who are invested in the running industry, in the running world, who are those serious racers who tend to go really fast at their races. I don't know if we know anybody like that. Not you, Ed.
Face is turning as red as it does when I'm crossing the finish line.
But we actually see a lot of the guests that come into our store are people who have been sent there by their doctors, because we are known in the community for making sure that people are moving. So whether that is running or walking, we want to make sure that we can be that place to help foster that for anyone. So we tend to have, we've got our section of the store that is more catered for people who are looking to get their fastest time on a race course. We also have a huge amount of friends that come to visit us that are just looking for comfort, looking to have pain relief from their day-to-day world, whether that's because they have had some medical issues and they're struggling with finding some comfort in their shoes and being on their feet now, or if it's someone who works in a factory or in a hospital and they're on their feet all day needing some relief from all of the fatigue that they're experiencing throughout the day. So we've got a little bit of everything for everyone in terms of what are you doing on your feet.
I could be butchering this next question. It won't be the first or the last time that I do that. So we asked for a little bit of grace from Jess Curtin discussing Movapalooza presented by Fleet Feet Roanoke, which is next Saturday, June 20th at 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at Green Hill Park in Salem. What's the correlation between what you just said, how Fleet Feet Roanoke, a lot of people who come into that place, into the store at Fleet Feet Roanoke, are people that have come on doctor's recommendations and are looking to be more comfortable and just living life and moving. What's the correlation between that and being able to get them linked up with people at Movapalooza all throughout the region that can help them be comfortable, move, and live in the most healthy manner possible?
Absolutely. So we are hoping that all of Southwest Virginia will see Movapalooza as the hub of all things movement and wellness. So in addition to having movement opportunities during the day, there during the festival and into the evening with our Glow Run 5K, we're also going to have a number of different providers on site that can connect you with the services or the practitioners that you're needing to get that relief in your life. So in terms of movement, we want to provide something for everyone, whether that's before they're moving, during their movement, and then while they're recovering from whatever effort they just exerted. So we're going to have different local businesses on site, including chiropractors, physical therapists, different types of recovery-based providers who are looking for what are the solutions that anyone could need, being able to find that all in one place at Green Hill Park next Saturday.
It's Green Hill Park, Salem, Virginia, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The easiest question is, and it doesn't matter where you're listening, BTRN Sports app, Fast Lane, Ed Lane, Fleet Feet Noke on Instagram, where we collaborate on all these. Wherever you're listening, it's worth going an hour if it can help you be healthy and live your best life. Am I oversimplifying it with this type of comment, Jess? People drive an hour or two to Duke or to Virginia for medical treatment. You can drive an hour to get medical solutions so you don't have to get that more severe treatment.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting when I'm at the Fit Bench and I'm in the store and I'm helping someone find whatever solution is that they are needing for their pain or for their activity. I meet people that are coming from Martinsville. I meet people who are coming from Lynchburg. I meet people who are coming from Blacksburg. I see people from all over coming to get solutions from us. What a perfect opportunity to just come to Green Hill Park on Saturday, June 20th, and find lots of different solutions, not just footwear there.
What about the mental side of things? Whether it's someone's mental health, whether it's creating a sense of community, if they're just getting started in movement or looking to explore something, how much of Move-A-Palooza is designed to give them people that are not just going to give them solutions Saturday, June 20th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at Green Hill Park in Salem, but they're going to be able to find a community of people that can continue to offer support throughout their movement journey, which hopefully is a very long time.
Absolutely. So one of the things that gets me so excited about what I get to do with Fleet Feet Roanoke is being a part of that community. When I first started running, I could not run a mile at a time. I was dying after half a mile. And so when I went to one of our meetups, I made friends with somebody who said, "Hey, just come with me. I'm a slow runner. We can just enjoy our time together." And from there, I've made so many friends. And now I'm enveloped in this whole community that is so supportive of one another, of just moving. It doesn't matter your pace. It doesn't matter your ability. Just finding friends and finding people around you who support that and who are doing it with you is incredible. And being able to have that at Green Hill Park, having not only creating that camaraderie that comes along with the movement community, but finding the people who can support your journey along the way. Once I got kind of serious into running, I started experiencing some shin splints. And so I looked to one of our local practitioners. I started going to Alchemy Sports Performance and Rehabilitation. They were able to diagnose what my problem was and help get me back to a place of where I can move, whether that's running or walking, pain-free. Those are the types of experiences that we're hoping to curate for people when they come to Green Hill Park next Saturday. Is if you're experiencing pain and it's not something that we can fix in terms of footwear, we want to connect you to the practitioners and the providers that can.
The event itself is Move-A-Palooza, Saturday, June 20th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Green Hill Park in Salem. It is worth the drive. And we say that however you're listening to the Fast Lane BTRN Sports app anywhere across the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's not just Move-A-Palooza, though. Food trucks, beer garden, what other amenities are there that can make this certainly something where people can start their wellness hub or grow their wellness hub, but also have a lot of fun in the process?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are excited to make this festival a family-friendly, fun place to be on June 20th. We are going to have food trucks. We're going to have a coffee truck. It's Covenant Coffee Company is going to be there. Hangar Seafood Truck, Sweet Revenge Food Truck, the Wiggly Pigs, and we're going to have a variety of different food there available for purchase. We're also going to have a beer garden brought to us by Parkway Brewing Company. Super excited to offer that. In addition to that, we're going to have some really cool things to get the kids active and to get them moving. We are going to have a quarter-mile loop inside the park that all of our vendors are going to be around, and that is your opportunity for movement, including taking your kids, getting different generations out there and moving, having a stroller lap with the Christiansburg Run Club. We're going to have a kids zone with the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Virginia. We're going to have We Wheel, bringing a bike course for kids to learn how to ride their bikes at Green Hill Park. And in addition to that, something super fun that I'm excited about is we're going to have the Artistic Innovations Bus, which if you've ever seen me on a race day, I am the glitter queen. I love to have race day glitter. So I'm super excited that we're going to have it's face painting, henna, glitter on your face, bubble braids in your hair. So something to just get you out there, get festive. We're going to have costumes. We're going to have music all day. We're going to have this big activity tent where you can find different forms of movement, not just running and walking. We're going to have Pilates. We're going to have yoga. We're going to have salsa dance classes with Salsa No. So there's something that's going to have everybody moving, regardless of their age.
I know you outlined all of that, but the key part to that is regardless of their age, right? This is family friendly, any age, anybody can do it, and it's any age throughout the entire day, 10A to 10P, correct?
Absolutely. We are hoping to get all people moving, regardless of age, ability, pace. We just want to see people moving and having fun.
Jess Curtin with us here from Fleet Feet Roanoke here in the Fast Lane, June 20th. That's next Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at Green Hill Park in Salem. Jess, thank you for your time in the Fast Lane. We have to save some questions for Bobby Grimes, who's going to join us next week to discuss this, including vendor count update when we get there. I'd imagine it's more than the 25 when I last spoke with you a couple weeks ago.
It's a lot more than that, Ed. It is going to be a good time.
Looking forward to it. Jess, thank you for your time today in the Fast Lane. Glad we could connect.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ed. Appreciate your time.
Indeed. Jess Curtin with us here in the Fast Lane. When we return, speaking of being the best mover yourself, that includes spiritual development. And the former director of spiritual development for Liberty Flames football, Ed Gomes, will step into the Fast Lane next here on the VTRN Sports app. And ask that smart speaker, open VTRN Sports.
Celebrate 250 years of America with massive savings during the Liberty 250 savings event on the Sheeler Motor Mile. Right now, get an additional $250 fuel savings discount on all new and used vehicles. An additional $250 in fuel savings. Shop over 2,000 new and used vehicles in one location, including more than 1,000 quality pre-owned vehicles with most makes and models at the Used Car Superstore, plus 12 new car brands in Southwest Virginia: Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Toyota, Subaru, Chevrolet, Buick, Mitsubishi, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Used cars starting at just $59.95. $59.95. And your trade is worth more. Shop local and save with straightforward pricing, exceptional service and selection, certified friendly staff, no games, no gimmicks, and more inventory arriving daily, plus flexible financing options for every budget. We've got the credit. The Sheeler Motor Mile delivers choices. The Liberty 250 savings event on the Sheeler Motor Mile. I-81 exit 118C in Christiansburg. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at Sheeler.com.
Example 2009 Chevrolet Impala, stock number KA260134B, plus tax tag title and $697 processing fee.
Lunchtime just got an upgrade. Stop by McAdoo for our $8.95 weekday special and grab a legendary sandwich at an unbeatable price. Choose from your favorite classics to Coney Island, Betty Bob, Ragtime, or Stogie. Classic sandwiches packed with savory meats and flavors in between fresh bread. Make it a meal by pairing your sandwich with a sidekick, a warm cup of soup, or crispy chips. Great food, cozy vibes, and the best deal in town.
Time to share it and fun. Just to be there, the only one. Just to be there at Market Dues.
We'll see you at the dues.
Guests are great, except unwanted guests. At Specialty Exterminating, we know the difference. Hi, I'm Sabrina Kennan with Specialty Exterminating. We help you keep unwanted pests out of your home. Now we can keep those reptiles away. Our new reptile repellent is the perfect add-on for your pest prevention service. It's pet and people safe, so it's perfect for any homeowner, especially pool owners and homes in wooded and rural areas. Call us so we can repel the reptiles. Specialty Exterminating, your pest prevention partner since 1979.
The clock is ticking. Time is running out for Virginia citizens to purchase modern sporting rifles and magazines from Big Boys Guns. Beat the July 1st deadline. Right now, the selection is robust at Big Boys Guns. ARs, AKs, and the most popular handguns will soon be banned from sale in the state of Virginia. Don't wait. Visit Big Boys Guns before the inventory is gone and not allowed to return. Shop 24/7 at BigBoysGuns.com and in store on Route 460 in Blue Ridge.
What if counseling services were just a click away? With secure, confidential telehealth sessions through Central Virginia Counseling, you can connect from wherever you feel most comfortable, anywhere in Virginia. No commute, no waiting rooms, just personalized care designed to meet you where you are. Support is closer than you think. Start your journey today on your terms. Visit centralvirginiacounseling.com to get started.
Hey guys, this is Chad Hassan with ASeaofRed.com. ASeaofRed.com is the #1 trusted independent news source for Flames sports. You can get access to premium content such as the Rumor Mill by becoming an ASeaofRed.com club member for only $84 a year. If you are a diehard Liberty Flames fan and want all the inside scoop, along with coverage of recruiting and all the major sporting events over at LU, visit ASeaofRed.com. Go Flames.
Starting the landscaping business, growing your fleet, Miller Built Outdoor Equipment is focused on commercial turf professionals across Central Virginia. We help you choose the right Toro commercial mower, professional handheld equipment, and the right support plan, so your operation grows the right way. Commercial turf is your business. Supporting it is ours. Miller Built Outdoor Equipment on 12th Street in Lynchburg.
Hi, this is Bill Roth, voice of Virginia Tech football. You're listening to The Fast Lane with Ed Lane and Trey Lyle. Join the chat at Trey Lyle VT and Fastlane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
So we're hoping to connect with Ed Gomes on a Thursday version of Faith Fridays here in the Fast Lane. But I know he's getting ready to go spend some time with his family on vacation the next couple of days. And so we may be readjusting schedules. We hope and pray things are well with him. We look forward to linking up with him whenever it arrives. And if it's this afternoon, even better. But we appreciate this as always. We've had some feedback that's come in on a number of different things. Sports betting, not shocking given what's going on with Texas Tech. The Knicks, not shocking as well, considering that. Plus, some other things that have arisen in the world of sports. We get to that right now as we get into a little bit of, fam feedback is what we like to call it here in the Fast Lane. If I can even go so far as to find our glorious music, which I can now.
Come join the chat or give us a piece of your mind. Trey Lyle VT and Fastlane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, it's time for fam feedback in the Fast Lane.
All right, well, the Knicks winning Game 4 last night. They have a 3-1 series lead against the San Antonio Spurs. They'll try to close it out in San Antonio over the weekend, and then perhaps if it doesn't get that far, or if they need an extra game in New York in Game 6. We'll intermix our coverage as well with the College Baseball World Series. That starts at 1:40 p.m. tomorrow right here on 93.3 FM and the VTRN Sports app. And we bring all that up to say West Coast superfan Ben is a long-suffering Knicks fan. He admitted this. And his comment to us, and we appreciate all of your feedback at Fastlane Ed Lane, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can message us if you prefer not posting there. We're happy to get that as well. But West Coast superfan Ben has this to say. I'm a long-suffering Knicks fan, as you know. But after Game 2, the way the media and team were acting like the series was over, the way the home fans acted, New Yorkers, the celebrity fan obnoxiousness, the $1 million tickets, President Trump showing up. Thanks for getting our algorithm up, by the way. The pure arrogance of it all means they deserve to be choking away this series in historic fashion. I just hate the celeb noise surrounding it all, but I should expect it. For sure, though, Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby reflect the resilient, quiet, determined team and got to win this year because the Spurs are going to be contenders for a long time. So there's a lot to unpack with West Coast superfan Ben and what he had to say. One of the points is the celeb culture or the rest of New York. Like the celeb culture, I laugh at, but maybe it's just me having no real standards and expectations for most of these celebrities. I tend to believe when I see celebrities at sporting events that most of them are there to be seen. Like, I wish they were all like Jack Nicholson for the LA Lakers back when he was younger, certainly. Or Spike Lee with the Knicks. Like, they are genuine fans of their team. I don't count them in this. I'm counting all the others who aren't there normally, but now come out in droves when there's a championship. It's annoying, but it's not really surprising to me. If anything, I get it from a business sense because, well, if they can afford to go there, never mind, they might be getting comp tickets, then I should be willing to pay an egregious amount so I can be like them, even though you're never going to be like them. I get it from a business sense. It's kind of laughable to me as maybe somebody who thinks too rationally on these, JJ. My wife, if she's listening, is laughing at me thinking rationally. But that part is not the part that bothers me nearly as much. I've talked about the behavior of Knicks fans, but just in general, the average person outside where it's just shut up, if you will, please. That's the part that's more annoying from fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's utterly ridiculous at the end of the day. The fans are out of control. I'm sure we mentioned already the video of Wembanyama getting hit in the back of the head with an egg. Had yolk pour down. All he was doing was trying to walk. I don't know if it was from the stadium or to the hotel. He wasn't doing anything bad, though. He was just walking. But to your point about celebrities showing up, so many that don't normally go to the games, I think you are right. There are so many people. I mean, I watched just about every NBA playoff game. And the only guys who were showing up before the finals really consistently were Tim Chalamet and Ben Stiller. And now the list of celebs has gotten absurdly long. Like, some of the most star-studded basketball games I've ever seen. But the question is, do they really care? Are they real fans?
Dude, what is, like, all right, DJ Khaled. I mean, I'm going to get in trouble with our guy, Uncle Luke, Luther Campbell, 2 Live Crew, big Miami fan. I thought DJ Khaled's a Miami guy. Like, what are we doing up here in New York? And he's on his phone the whole time. Like, if he's in a Heat game, I buy it. That is literally the definition of to be seen at a sporting event.
And if you're going to be on your phone the whole time, I mean, you paid all that money. Think about what if you gave your ticket to like a real fan, someone who actually cares about the team's been following them throughout the season, and they just can't afford the tens of thousands of dollars for a finals ticket. But at the end of the day, you want to be seen, so you're going to take up that seat if you're DJ Khaled.
You're not even watching the game. Like, that's the part that gets me. By the way, it's not like the Knicks are the only ones in this or the Lakers. The Warriors had it. Beyonce and Jay-Z magically found themselves courtside at those games back when the Warriors were in this spot too. Like, they're a fan of every team, I guess. They are literally front-running fans.
Yeah, I mean, Jay-Z used to own the Nets, and now he's showing up to the Knicks games acting like he's a big Knicks fan.
You could argue he's been in more Knicks, Warriors, and Lakers games than he's been in Net games.
Which is just ridiculous at the end of the day. I mean, he used to own part of the team. He sold it in 2013, I want to say. But I feel like if you own a team, you got to be a fan of them going forward.
You have to.
You have to, right?
I mean, you're putting your hard-earned dollars behind it. Not everybody can be like Michael Jordan, who owns 23XI Racing and NASCAR and shows up at the majority of the races.
Yeah, I just expect more out of the fans. It's frustrating to see because what are you going to do about it with the prices inflating? It ends up getting to the point the only people who could actually afford to go to the game are celebrities and those who have made their fortune elsewhere, which is just sad at the end of the day.
It is, and the ironic thing is, I mean, this is insane. Like, I paid four figures when my brother and I went to see the Phillies win the World Series against Tampa Bay in 2008. And it was one of those, we got the money, graduation, we may never get a chance. And I probably could have paid a little bit more to see the Eagles win their first Super Bowl in Minnesota. But, I mean, I'd seen it once. I'd rather enjoy it now in the comfort of my home with family and friends and be around them. If the Phillies are ever in that spot again, I might do it more as a bucket list item. My dad's 70, so, good Lord willing, he'll be on this earth for another 25 to 30 years at least. But you just never know when God's going to call him home. And so it is what it is. I could maybe justify it for that. But when you're talking about like $10,000 plus, my dad would choke me if I tried to spend that money on it. He'd be so upset at my fiscal ridiculous. By the way, to West Coast Superfan Ben's point on everything else around this game, Brunson and OG Anunoby do reflect the resilient, quiet, determined team. Again, I know we acknowledged that at the beginning of the show, but lost in all the hysteria of New York fan behavior is the character those guys have shown to erase 3 double-digit deficits. One of them being 29 points in your 3 victories. That's some rare stuff. And it speaks to the strength of this team, which is not individual stars and skills. If you're looking at your first team all NBA, I don't think anybody from the Knicks made that. Maybe I'm wrong. You would know this better.
No, they did not.
I don't think anybody would be on the top 10 list of the best players in the NBA right now in terms of just raw individual gifted basketball players. I mean, heck, the Spurs maybe only have one with Victor Wembanyama. But the fact that they all pull together, there is a testament to that part, which I can extrapolate and say is remarkable. And I was asked this by a guy who's done some business with us, but hasn't in a while, so I'm not going to mention business names or anything. But I bumped into this individual about a week or so ago. And he was talking about what I wanted to see in the finals. Not necessarily Spurs, but just thinking more, knowing me as a Sixers fan. And my comment was, look, I like the Spurs. I'd love to see them win. But if you like the idea of parity, because he was bringing up the fact that 8 years in a row there's been a different NBA champion, and that's this year's obviously the Knicks and Spurs both qualify. If you want that idea of different champions each year to continue, I would root for the Knicks, because I agree with West Coast Superfan Ben saying the Knicks almost got to win it this year because the Spurs seem to be contenders for a while. I think as painful as this year is for Spurs fans, and if they lose, it almost might have the feel of when the Spurs lost Game 6 to LeBron and the Miami Heat and lost it in gut-wrenching fashion, and then the Heat put it away in Game 7. LeBron, I know I bag on him a lot, but he stepped up so big in 6 with the Ray Allen bang 3, and then LeBron took over in Game 7 as a great would do. But the next year, the Spurs came back and just blitzed the Miami Heat. It was a 4-1 series win. None of those victories were particularly close. The only game that was when the air conditioning went out in the arena in San Antonio. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that, actually. Everyone was cramping.
Everybody was. And the Heat survived that. But other than that game, the Spurs whitewashed the white-hot Miami Heat. I kind of get the impression that could well happen next year, where the Knicks might be good enough to get back to this point, or maybe not, but the Spurs will have learned from it in a year and will figure things out. And at some point, they will just be that good of a team. So if you like the idea of balance, again, I know I've given a lot of reasons to root against the Knicks, but I'll flip it around and say that's one of the reasons to root for them.
Yeah, I don't think the Spurs are going anywhere for the next decade, you could go as far as say. We already mentioned the ages of the young stars earlier in the show, but one thing that is important to consider for the Spurs, it looks like everything is set up perfectly, but you have to consider, what if you don't end up getting back? It makes me think of the 2012 Thunder team that had Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, three guys who would eventually win the MVPs. They get to the finals, they lose in 5 to the Heat, LeBron's first championship, and they never made it back. So if you're San Antonio, while you think you can become complacent and say, oh, we're going to be here next year and the year after that, at the end of the day, finals isn't a guarantee. What if Wemby gets hurt? What if Wemby decides to leave in free agency in a few years? You got to capitalize on your chances now. And last night, they just completely failed to do that.
No doubt. I mean, they did. It's just, that's the type of loss that stings with you for a while. And if nothing else, I know it's team sports, so it's different, but I use tennis as an example. When you've suffered some gut-wrenching losses before in tennis, you maybe, I criticize them on a personal level, but competitively speaking, Sasha Zverev, who won the French Open, finally got over the hump this year. And I think from a competitor standpoint, you can respect that. But there's Ons Jabeur in tennis, who lost Wimbledon back-to-back years in gut-wrenching fashion. In between, she lost the U.S. Open to Iga Swiatek, and it kind of feels like she's never going to get back. And that there is a possibility that when you have a gut-wrenching loss, that is the outcome on the other side of this. Mike chimed in, by the way, on the idea of sports betting. He mentioned this. Going back to Simeon Cottle and Kennesaw State, everything was exposed in this regard. I feel like an entire segment could really be done on sports betting and whether or not it's something that should be more regulated or even outright banned across the board for college athletics. I don't even go that far, everything in sports betting. I go to a couple things. You don't have to do sports betting. I've done it. It's not JJ's thing. I don't hate on him either way. Like, I'm not here to peer pressure you that you should start doing it. I know other people in media are all about peer pressuring, and I've seen some pretty egregious examples of it, even in our area of that. That's not our style. But, I'll say this. Having sports betting legalized actually is a good thing in the sense that when you're talking about the sports books, everything's regulated. You have to sign up for it. So they have your name, social security number, identification, and information. Like, they pretty well know who you are when you're placing a bet. They have a profile on you. So you could easily, if anything, even if you don't want to bet, I almost have it as a condition as a college athlete. Everybody's automatically going to be signed up with every sports book. And that way we can flag any activity that takes place if you ever log into your sports book. You just get the information and we're flagging it 24/7. We're going to regulate this across the board. I almost go the other way. And maybe this is a nuclear option, but I have everybody signed up because then on the big sports books who pump their money in, again, they don't want people throwing games because they want stuff to be, if people are throwing games, then somebody stands to profit off of them in an illicit manner. They want the books to be evenly balanced, whether it's a prop bet, an over or under, or a point total. The sports books want it balanced. To me, that's the solution to a lot of this, as well as this. I don't have a problem if you're Alan Tisdale at Virginia Tech and you bet on the NBA Finals. I thought it was ridiculous that he got suspended 9 games when he self-reported that. But betting on your team and in your sport, if you play in the NFL, you can't bet on the NFL at all. You play in the NBA, you're not allowed to bet on anything pertaining to the NBA. Same thing in the other sports. I don't see why it's that hard to put that type of rule and regulation in place, JJ, for college sports as well and say, look, if you play college basketball, college football, college baseball, lacrosse, you can technically bet on all those sports. You could bet if you play, I'll use a clear example here. Let's just for the sake of, you're Ethan Grunkmeyer at Virginia Tech. You cannot bet on anything in college football. But if you want to bet on lacrosse or baseball or something else, you want to blow your NIL money on that, God help you. Have at it. To me, that's the free country in me thinking out. I'm not saying it's morally justified and right, but if anything, the value of having this above board and regulated is they know who your activity is. They can flag it. If anything, this is much better than the pre-regulated era where these type of things might have been happening, but it was with your shady neighborhood bookie or somebody in an offshore account that you can't actually track and keep track of.
Yeah, so just to play devil's advocate a little bit for your point, I have heard where people use like their uncle's DraftKings account or some kind of relative, the betting account from them and that allows them to place these bets and things that may be unregulated, things on their own sport and things like that. And when you get into that, it's harder and harder to track.
Very good point. It is when you get to that point, or even if you have a relative that brings that point up. Meanwhile, tomorrow in the Fast Lane, there is no show. Thursday in the Fast Lane, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there's no show as well. We will be back probably next Thursday or next Friday in the Fast Lane, depending on the College World Series schedule. In the meantime, catch all that, plus the Stanley Cup Final and NBA Championships, the VTRN Sports app, and 93.3 FM. Thanks for listening to the Fast Lane on